was the one that took him out of there. Everybody else put him back in the cage. I took him out. And she said, when you take him home, make sure that, just put him in one room, because he's a cat, and they're going to, as soon as you let him out of the box, he's going to go hide. He could hide under the bed, could hide under a couch, and like we stay there for a day or two, they're traumatized, expect it. So I'm like, okay. Took him there, took him in the bedroom, I opened it up, and I want to see what he's going to do. I mean, his cat is not doing anything normal so far. So the cat looks up out of the box. I think he's going to just run out and just go and hide somewhere. He doesn't. He gets up like he's like a drug dealer. Looking at me, looking around. Doesn't do anything sudden. I'm liking him. Instead of running out, he hops out and just stays there. Now, he's used to a cage, but now he's on carpet. He starts to do this. And he looks at me, it's like, you live here? And then he walks to the corners and comes back and brushes up against me and walks to the other corner, brushes up against me and walks to another corner. He's just scoping the whole place out. Never hides, never goes under the bed, never does anything. And then he starts to purr. And he purred for 5 hours straight, non-stop. I was done. Now mine. When they found him, he was cut, he was bleeding, he was about to die. The first thing they had to do was stop the bleeding. The woman pressed through the crowd with the issue of blood, been bleeding a long time. Sometimes you can get hurt by something in your life. You can lose somebody. I've closed the casket on lots of people, lots of close people to me. I was the one that my father also made promise that I'd be the one to pull the plug. He didn't want to be kept alive on the machine. I had to make that decision. I had to go through all that crazy stuff. And you bleed. And some of that stuff, it just doesn't get away from you real quick. It messes with you. And you don't think it messes with you until later. I get a phone call to go be with a kid that's on death row. He's about to be executed. He's been listening to my music in prison, and he wants me to be with him when he's executed. So I have to be there. Stuff like that stays with you. It just doesn't, you can't just shake it off. Sometimes you get cut and you start bleeding. The first thing God has to do, stop the bleeding. In the life of the flesh is in the blood. You don't want to lose your life right there on the spot. You got to stop the bleeding. Tonight, I want to stop the bleeding. Some of you have been hurt. Somebody has messed with you. Somebody has promised you the world. They promised you their heart, their allegiance, their loyalty, their love, and they turned on you. And they ripped you off. And not only did they turn on you and rip you off, they stole something from you. And then they talked about you. And then they changed other people's mind, the way they think about you, and start turning people against you. And you're like, how did I allow this person to even come in my life? And you wonder why people walk through life limp, lame. And some are paralyzed. They don't want to feel anything. But the first thing, like with that little cat, they had to stop the bleeding. Tonight, I want to pray that the bleeding stops.